Stories in conversations. I'm sure you know a few people who tell fantastic tales in conversations. They're telling a story and others shut up and listen. You may feel like the exact opposite. When you tell a story, it feels like others are in a rush to interrupt you and talk over you. Why? That's not only a problem you face. Even charismatic storytellers often get spotlight jacked too. Spotlight jacked? Yes, when they have their spotlight taken away and it's never returned. When interacting with humans, do not be surprised by chaos. Expect it. Expect that there is going to be some jerk who takes away your spotlight. That's not even fully fair. Some of these people aren't really jerks, they're just unaware. Remember, humans are walking, talking information systems. As you were telling a story about your cat, they resonated with that point. It's because from their database, experiences, they too have a cat. At first, they want to contribute to your point to build further rapport, but over time, they got so entrenched in the story that they forgot they took the spotlight away in the first place. All good. Continue on. How do you tell a story in a conversation? You go in with the intent of leading with context first. The content will fall out of the context. Stories are used to build rapport and build connection with others. Therefore, to understand what type of story to tell, it's smart to understand the environment you're in. If you enter an Uber ride and tell a story of your childhood, the driver will look at you in confusion. But if the Uber driver asks, "Yo man, how was your day?" Now you've been given the context to tell a story about your day. A story is a string of ideas. When you're talking to another human, there's an alternate mode you want to get into. The mode of what? Edutainment. Edutainment blends education and entertainment. Education is to make someone aware, and entertainment is to fill the story with your personality. I knew this one girl who was very sarcastic. She would always make sarcastic comments and see if you could keep up with her wit. That was something that I had no desire of doing. I just wanted to have a conversation and leave it at that. I'm not trying to have a mental jousting competition with you. However, that was her personality, and she didn't sway away from it. Was that the most socially intelligent thing to do? Depends on who you ask. From her perspective, I respect that. If that's your authentic personality, then stand by it when you're telling your stories. When telling stories in a conversation, it's all about making the story an arm rather than a horn. If I tell you to envision yourself with horns, that will require cognitive effort. If I tell you to envision yourself with arms, that will not require cognitive effort. You'll be like, "Well, I already have arms, so I'll envision what I normally see in the mirror." Correct. Same with telling stories. We're not trying to make it seem like we have horns, because our goal is to reduce the cognitive effort that's needed. Before telling stories in conversations, we should be living and breathing stories at this point, collecting and clarifying nodes, creating connections, building insights, practicing the art of speaking and writing. That's when telling stories in a conversation is more natural. The less cognitive effort an activity takes, the easier it becomes to incorporate your personality into it. That's why practice is king. I've worked with a few people in getting their YouTube channels started. They're typically introverted entrepreneurs who want to get in front of the camera to share their message. These introverted entrepreneurs are a hub of knowledge, but they need to move out of their own way when it comes down to delivering their content. And that's why they practice telling their stories more and more. At first, they say they feel uncomfortable. I ask them what they're speaking to. They say, camera. I ask them how it was like when they met their best friend for the first time. Were they immediately hitting it off? No, we needed some time to get warmed up to each other, they said. Okay, so if you need to get warmed up to humans, then what makes you think that you won't need to get warmed up to a lifeless machine? They eventually understood the importance of putting in the reps, so storytelling can feel like an arm rather than a horn. That's what it's like to tell stories in conversations. It's a game of practicing. Some people will get it. Some people won't. Rejection is the predecessor for more creativity.